Okay, so we'll start now. Mr. Sudhanshu, you are there, no? Okay, yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, I'd like to invite the speaker, Mr. Sudhanshu Kumar, who will talk about use of micro irrigation and automation in enhancing income in banana. I now request the speaker to begin. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Um, should I proceed in English or Hindi? Sorry, I didn't ask that.
Anything is, if it is mixed, it will be good.
Okay. So one of the most burning topics right now is using technology and how can you enhance farmers' income. So when the government has put up a goal of doubling farmers' income, we can see that if you adopt the proper technologies, whether it's irrigation, whether it is mechanization, कोई भी मतलब नई तकनीक, नए बीज, नए तौर तरीके, न्यू सेट ऑफ नॉलेजेस, जब भी आप इसको इस्तेमाल करेंगे, it enhances your income. And we've seen this. I've been farming लगभग 38 साल से मैं खेती कर रहा हूँ, फार्मिंग कर रहा हूँ, और मैंने ये देखा है कि जैसे as soon as you keep introducing new technologies, machines, new methods, new knowledge into agriculture, it ultimately helps to enhance your income. Because हम लोग का main goal is what? हम लोग का मेन गोल है कि कैसे हम अपना इनपुट कॉस्ट कम करें और अपना प्रोडक्टिविटी बढ़ाएं, because market is never in our control. So we don't know what the rate is going to be like this season. Matlab, it's been a bloodbath in the banana market. I mean, people who were expecting banana to be on an average 14 rupees a kg. It peaked last season at 22, 23, it went up to 25. This season, banana in UP is selling for 4 rupees a kg. In Bihar, it is selling for 7 to 6.5 to 7 rupees a kg. Where हम लोग पिछले साल सारा एस्टिमेट्स बना के चले थे 14 kg, 12 rupees to 14 rupees a kg पर. अगेन फिर वो वाली बात आ रही है, बहुत ज्यादा लोग केला करने लगे हैं, एंड इट सीम्स कि देयर इज अ ग्लट इन द मार्केट, देयर इज टू मच सप्लाई. बट द फनी थिंग, जो सबसे अजूबा बात है, केला अभी भी रिटेल में 50 to 60 रुपीज केजी ही बिक रहा है, लेकिन होलसेल में केला का कॉस्ट नीचे ही जाते जा रहा है. ये एक आयरनी है. आई डोंट नो एग्जैक्टली व्हाई दिस हैपेंस, हाउ इज दिस हैपनिंग, लेकिन किसान इज अगेन एट द लूजिंग एंड. चूंकि होलसेल मार्केट कम होते जा रहा है, लेकिन रिटेल इज स्टक एट वेयर इट वाज. सो अगेन मिडलमैन मेकिंग, मतलब एट द एक्सपेंस ऑफ द फार्मर्स, लोग प्रॉफिट मेक कर रहे हैं. लेकिन ये कहानी हर एक चीज में है, चाहे आप आलू कीजिए, टमाटर कीजिए. अब बनाना को कभी ऐसा नहीं हुआ था, ये पहली साल ऐसा हो रहा है बनाना को. तो ये सारे प्रॉब्लम्स को मिटिगेट कैसे करेगा आदमी? बस किसान के हाथ में सिर्फ दो ही इसका सोल्यूशन है. वन, हम अपना प्रोडक्टिविटी बढ़ाएं, इनपुट कॉस्ट को कम करें, सो दैट ये मार्केट का जो उतार चढ़ाव होता है, द स्विंग इन द मार्केट इन द रेट्स, so we can adjust to that swing, and no matter which way it goes, we still make a decent profit. और इन सब चीजों में टेक्नोलॉजी प्लेज अ वेरी बिग रोल. नाउ एक चीज और, मतलब आई लाइक टू टेल द फार्मर्स, यू ड्रॉ योर लाइन कि आपके लिए व्हाट इज एक्चुअल प्रॉफिट. सो सी, इवन इफ यू कैच 12 rupees a kg, you can make a profit of 2 lakh rupees an acre in banana. But of course, right now the price has gone down in Bihar. I can say 6.5 to 7 rupees. So that's nearly half. So by half, we mean we are down to 1 lakh rupees profit. फिर भी it is better than the other crops. And this drop in price has happened for the last 15 days. Before 15 days, it was 12, 14 rupees a kg. So this is a very big issue the farmer has to deal with. And this is where your technology comes in, whether it is micro irrigation, fertigation, automation. कि हम अपने आप को इंसुलेट कैसे करें ये वाइड स्विंग से। वैसे बाय द वे केला में ये पहली बार इट्स बीन सो बैड। First time I've seen in my last 9 years of doing banana, this is the first time. All these years, the price of banana was increasing. I think this is the first year in my experience in the last 9 years that the cost of banana has matlab, really gone down drastically. And what is being predicted is this is going to go on for another 10 days till this Chhat festival in Bihar, where the demand of banana is huge. And maybe after that, it should stabilize because distress selling ho, yeah, whatever farmers are losing patience, they are dumping their banana in the market. So hopefully it will stabilize by end of this month. And maybe the things will come back to the semblance of normalcy. That's around 12 kg to 14 kg. Now, with this backdrop in mind, this is where technology becomes important. So, what I saw in my last 9 years of doing banana is, and other farmers who are doing in my village, half acre, 1 acre, 2 acre, 3 acre. So, a lot of them are doing traditional way. The only modernity जो उन्होंने अपनाया है वो है they bought tissue culture plant from a good lab. That in itself is a very big development. It is, you can say, enhancement of technology when you get very good seeds. But rest of the technologies they're not using. They're doing flood irrigation. They're doing traditional way of fertilizer application and everything. Then we have farmers in my village who have installed micro irrigation with the Venturi system of fertigation. They have not installed automation. And some farmers like me, so we have gone the whole hog. We have right up to automation we have implemented. So what is the difference? If your farm holding is small, let's say half acre or 1 acre, I don't think it matters that much whether you have automation. Micro irrigation is very important because banana ideally likes around 18 to 19 gram of khad of different varieties. There are around 11 to 12 varieties, whether it is nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, magnesium, calcium, iron, zinc, micronutrients, enzymes, amino acid. So if you put them all together and let's say if some you have to give half an ml, some you have to give quarter an ml, some you have to give 5 grams, some you have to give 6 gram. And ideally this fertilizer should be applied every, some people say 4 days. We are applying for every 7 days. So let's say in 1 acre of banana, you have around 1400 plants on approximately. So, and if you have 5 acres, then that whole thing goes up to 7,000. If you have 10 acres, then go to 14,000. And let's say if someone is doing 10 acres or 20 acres of banana, then you can see how many plants to give fertilizer to each and every plant. Every fourth day or seventh day will not be possible. So what farmers do is वो क्या करते हैं? They give it monthly or they give it 2 months by at 2 months interval. But giving fertilizer and water incrementally, matlab every 4 day, 5 day, if you can give irrigation and fertilizer. So what happens? The plant has a very even growth. It is never crisis point. Like the plant reaches a crisis, then you do flood irrigation, then you apply khad, and suddenly the plant shoots. And then again, after 10, 15 days, again it goes dry. There's lack of nutrition in the soil. Then the plant will start stunting. And then again, you do flood irrigation. Then your next month, you apply fertilizer. Again, the plant starts shooting up. So this erratic growth of the plant affects its productivity and maturity. So best way of managing banana is use micro irrigation with fertigation, whether it is manual through a Venturi system where you use a bucket. You create a negative positive pressure and the bucket, whatever fertilizer is there in the bucket, it gets sucked up. So that's on a very small scale, and it works as good as a very sophisticated system. On the other hand, if you have 10, 20 acres of banana plantation, then you can install an automatic system in which you can literally put it there in the software of how many gram of which fertilizer at what time interval has to be taken up by the plant, and you can set the whole timetable and scheduling, and things happen automatically. Just to keep an eye on जो भी काम हो रहा है उस पर एक नजर रखना है, और जिससे कोई मशीन खराब हो गया, क्योंकि बिजली जाने के बाद जब वो दोबारा बिजली आएगी 1-2 घंटे बाद भी, इट डजंट अफेक्ट द प्रोग्राम। उसके बायोस में सारा सिस्टम सेट रहता है, सो इट विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम जहां वो बंद हुआ वहां, सो दैट इज नॉट एन इशू। Issue is what you have to watch over is if there's a mechanical failure, leak develops, there's high voltage, low voltage. Of course, for that also you have instruments. So maybe a pipe has leaked in the field. Maybe some animal has damaged a pipe, or a pipe just because of pressure वो खुल जाए. So this is the normal watch you have to keep on the system. Otherwise, the system works very well. And if you have a very large farm, automation is the only solution, because it is humanly not possible to give fertilizer to so many plants at the proper interval, so that the plant वो जो ग्रो करेगा अपने खेत में, वो समायतन एक रंग एक रूप से ग्रो करते रहे, ना स्ट्रेस में जाए, ना ओवरफीडिंग हो, ना ओवर इरिगेशन हो. तो ये आइडियल माना जाता है, एंड वी हैव सीन द इफेक्ट in my field, where even if you stop fertigation, let's say this season, there was 15 days of continuous rain, and we could not apply fertigation because it would just flow down and get wasted because there was too much moisture in the soil. So we noticed that the internode, so one leaf coming out, then the next leaf coming out, then the next leaf coming out. So it has a proper spacing on the stem of the banana plant. So you will see when the fertilizer application is perfect, it has a very even internode distance. But as soon as the fertigation stops, you'll see the leaves will start bunching up, shorter, 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 because it is not getting enough fertilizer. So visually also you can see how micro irrigation with automation or without automation, how it can really help you to give a proper dose of water and fertilizer so that your plants grow well. And it is so cheap. I mean, there's no labor involved. इवन अ 5 एकड़ 10 एकड़ 15 एकड़ या जितना भी बड़ा आपका पास प्लॉट क्यों ना हो, लेकिन आप जो है एक बटन दाबेंगे, इरिगेशन हो गया, फर्टिगेशन हो गया, या सिर्फ इरिगेशन करना हो वो हो गया, तो इससे लेबर कॉस्ट कम हो जाता है, एफिशिएंसी बढ़ जाता है, एंड द इनपुट कॉस्ट डिक्रीजेस. सो दिस इज ये दोनों तरफ आपको हेल्प कर रहा है. इनपुट कॉस्ट भी डिक्रीज हो रहा है, प्रोडक्टिविटी भी बढ़ रहा है, because you are applying fertilizer and water at such perfect interval. So the plant is really, I mean, doing its best in growing and will give you the best yields. Even the bunch size, the number of hands, the finger size, the spacing of the bunch, the size of the finger. So because banana sells in A, B, and C grade, so you get the maximum price for A grade. Next medium you get for B, and C you get very little price. So if you can develop a system जहाँ आपके पूरे बंच में सिर्फ ए कैटेगरी के ही फिंगर्स हों बनाना के, तो यू even if the weight is less, but your price you will get more, so it makes up. So बहुत सारे लोग जो हैं किसान ये गलत फहमी में रहते हैं कि जितना बड़ा बंच हो, they will keep measuring it 5 feet, 6 feet, and those bunches are in a V shape. So what happens is when you start harvesting, the at least 4 hands, the bottommost hands, they go into C category, and it becomes really a waste because you don't get proper price for it. And if you would have cut those hands in advance, that weight would have got transferred to the upper hands, and I mean giving you a very less difference in ultimate weight. So you get the whole bunch in a better A and B category of banana, and you that issue of even collecting and disposing of the waste also means expense in the field. So you can get rid of that also. So a lot of farmers now in my village also are seeing the difference between micro irrigation and flood irrigation. So a lot of them are eventually now turning up and getting drip installed. They keep around 22,000 farmers have visited my farm in the last 5 6 years. And because majority of my land is under micro irrigation, so people can literally see the difference in management between traditional way of irrigation and micro irrigation. So when if we come back to the main topic, how can you enhance your income by using micro irrigation and automation? You can enhance your income because your input cost is decreasing. You have more time to look after the other aspects of agriculture, and your productivity is increasing. You're conserving water, you're using the exact amount of fertilizer, you're not using. So what happens if you अगर आप 1 महीने में या 2 महीने में फर्टिलाइजर देते हैं, so you give a bulky amount of fertilizer at the root zone. उसमें quarter of it leaches, nitrogen through the effect of sun will evaporate. So ultimately, how much is the plant getting out of that fertilizer you applied in the basil in the traditional way? Or when you use drip, it is in liquid form. Of course, we have to pay attention to pH and EC. I mean, those things are mandatory. So how much of it is being taken up by the plant? Maximum amount is being taken up by plant. Only in the rainy season, you will have a problem. Let's say if 15 days, 20 days, the soil doesn't dry up, it is wet. That is the only time you will not be able to use fertigation, because whatever fertigation you're giving, it's just going to drain off. Unless you have made small embankments in the field to trap the water and let it percolate. But even if it percolates, a percentage of leaching will occur, where the plants, the fertilizer will go below the root zone. So the only drawback of this whole system is during the monsoons. If you have rain continuously, so for that short period of time, आप fertigation नहीं use कर पाएंगे, और थोड़ा सा वहाँ पर प्रॉब्लम आता है मेंटेनेंस में. Other than that, electricity, thankfully in Bihar right now, we don't have that issue. We are getting electricity 22 hours a day, and that's speaking volumes about the government. So if somewhere you have electricity problem, then you will need backup solar system or generator, then that adds to the expense. But in Bihar right now, especially in my village, we are not having that issue. So it can be disadvantage to some people where they have issues with electricity. But if you don't have issues with electricity, I think it is perfect, because nearly all the governments are giving subsidy on agricultural use of electricity. We have it in Bihar, so that works in the farmer's favor. So there also you're decreasing input cost, because the charge per unit of electricity is very low for agricultural purpose. So you're saving out there also. You're saving in the amount of fertilizer you're using. You're saving on the amount of water you're using. So water conservation is there. So all these things, when you add up, especially let's say in a 40-acre farm that I have installed this system, just 2 people are enough to take care of this whole thing. So now you calculate, if 2 people or let's say 3 people can take care of 40-acre plot of land because of micro irrigation and fertigation. See the input cost, that is you're decreasing the input cost in a huge way, and that adds to your income. So to offset price and the volatile market for banana prices, you can offset it by, if you decrease your input cost and increase your output, that is the production, then to a certain extent you can play the market where you'll feel okay, doesn't matter, profits may go down, they'll go up, but at least you'll not be left high and dry. So this is really plays as a shock absorber for you, for your income, for marketing, and for the input and output cost. So my suggestion to all farmers would be, any horticultural crop, not only banana, you have to go in for micro irrigation. Most of the plants are good with micro irrigation, except for some vegetable crops where you need micro sprinklers, where it will become too expensive to install so many pipes for drip. There, the micro irrigation with the micro sprinklers, the sprinkler system has a better result than using drip in high density, ultra high density vegetable cropping pattern, because you can't install so many pipes at every 1 feet or 2 feet. So there, this micro sprinkler gives better results. But other than that, all fruit trees, all where row to row and line to matlab plant to plant distance is demarcated, micro irrigation in the drip form, वो सबसे ideal होता है, both to enhance your income and increase your input cost. So I always suggest to all farmers, whenever they come out here to visit my farm, I said, don't even think about doing horticultural crops without micro irrigation. And in addition, you have to have fencing, because they are high value crops. They are very attractive to animals because they would love to feed on the succulent leaves, because all of them are very delicate. So you have to have fencing, you have to have micro irrigation. Like government in Bihar is giving right now. Last year it was 80 and 90%, 90% for SC/ST category and 80% for general. Uh, this year, though, the subsidies have come down to 80 and 70. So 80 for SC/ST and 70 for the general category. So that's a huge handholding that the government is doing. If they are paying 70% of the cost of your drip irrigation, and a lot of farmers are using that. And I think it would not have been possible for farmers to get into micro irrigation if the government hadn't given so much subsidy. And states like Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, or Maharashtra, they have gained tremendously because they were very early users. Gujarat, in Bihar, I think micro irrigation in even in a even people became aware of it. I think around in 2005, 2004, because I got mine installed in 2007. So this installation, we at least Bihar was very behind in this, but now they are catching up. We are catching up very fast. And protected agriculture, agriculture undercover, using micro irrigation, automation, a lot of sensor control, these are the things of the future. और धीरे धीरे अगर आप ये सब नए टेक्नोलॉजीज नहीं अपनाएंगे, अगर आप नए इसमें इन्वेस्टमेंट करना होता है, दैट इज like automation में government is given no subsidy in automation, so a farmer has to invest, because government का thinking है कि small marginal farmers, or let's say 4 acre or 5 acre farmer, do not need automation, so they are not giving subsidy for automation. But the manual system of fertigation and micro irrigation is in the same package for all crops. So that is one very big advantage you're going to get. But if you want to get into automation, आपको अपना investment करना होगा. You have to. But let me say this: I've been using automation now from 2019, so that's nearly 6 years. And today, if someone tells me to install micro irrigation, um, matlab to do horticultural crops without micro irrigation, I won't dare to do it, because I've got so used to this ease of irrigation, ease of applying fertilizer. It's so easy. It is, you're not dependent on laborers. You can do it alone in worst case scenarios, like I did it for the whole COVID period with complete lockdown. And thankfully, the system was there in place before COVID 2019 had started up. So, I mean, I could go every day to my field alone, start the system, put the fertilizer in the concentrated tanks, and switch on the system, wait for around 3 4 hours, 5 hours, read something, do something. And by the time the irrigation and fertigation complete, I used to lock down my control room and then go back home alone without having to meet anyone, without needing anyone to help me. And fortunately, no disaster occurred, like a major, let's say, a pipe leak or damage of any pipes. That is the only problem, but thankfully I didn't have that. So it was a boon for me during COVID because I could manage my whole farm single-handedly because anyway under lockdown, no laborers were available. So overall, if we sum up this whole thing, I think if you are a farmer, if you're thinking of going into any horticultural crops, banana, I have taken the example of banana because banana is something that grows very naturally all over India. It has a good market, though of course when we compare to the world market, per capita consumption of banana is still very poor out here in India. I think I don't have the exact data, but I think in India it is 4 to 5 kg per capita, and whereas in America or Latin America and all, it goes up to, I'm hearing 30 to 35 to 40 kg. So I think it has a very good future because now in India also a lot of people are slowly changing their eating habits towards fruits and vegetables, and I think this is going to give a huge demand for all these products. But of course, if everyone starts doing banana, then again, issues like this season, the issue is happening, will come up. So my second advice to farmers will be never put all your eggs in one basket. Like I'm doing dragon fruit, I'm doing strawberry, I'm doing mosami, I'm doing jamun, I'm doing lychee, I'm doing mango, I have guava. So, and the conscious effort was not to put all your eggs in one basket because you never know which crop is going to go into glut, which crop may have some disease coming in from some viral disease which no one can control. So you should never just do a single crop. Always have something in the pipeline. Do small scale other fruits also. They should be lined up so that in 3 to 4 years time you get the feel of that fruit. So just in case a banana fails, then you may switch over to something else. At least you'll have the confidence, the experience of trials on your field, not someone else's experience. And you will be able to invest more confidently in that product so that your future income is not endangered if just in case a glut occurs in the market, like the potato market or the tomato market that we keep, or the onion market that we keep hearing in news. Banana is going through that phase right now, and hopefully things will correct itself. And by another 10 days, we will be get back to some sensible rates in the market. Right now, it's a bloodbath, but फिर भी right in for the last 9 years, it has given profit. It gave very good profit. Even now, it is giving profit, but things for a little while have gone really scary. But to mitigate these problems, we have to take the help of technology, machines, input, output, everything. So, I mean, if anyone has questions on automation and micro irrigation, the cost factor, or any other thing, we can take questions right now.
Okay. Thank you for the talk, Mr. Sudhanshu. I'll take up some questions. How does micro irrigation improve water use efficiency and overall productivity in banana cultivation compared to traditional irrigation methods?
So let's say I did this experiment in my lychee orchard. So the irrigation that we're doing, flood irrigation. So we were using in 15 acres of lychee orchard with 1100 trees, around 1 crore 72 liters of water per season. That is 6 flood irrigations in the season. Though it requires more, but you're not able to give more than 6. But once we installed micro irrigation, the use of water came down to around 62 lakh, let you one third. From 1 crore 72 lakh, it came down to around 61 lakh liters of water, and where you could give irrigation every alternate day for 30 times and still spend less water, one third the quantity of water that you're spending in flood irrigation. On the other hand, it saves you on power costs, whether it is electricity or whether it is diesel cost. So both these factors help you out economically because they're reducing your cost. And as I've said throughout my talk, this even method of applying water and fertilizer to the plant increases its productivity. It's early maturity, better fruit size. You get more weight in the fruit, and maturity happens. 80% of your fruit will be matured at the same time, because in banana you have to sell in bulk. So you have to have a trackable amount at the time of harvesting, or you'll be engaged in harvesting for over months, trying to harvest 10 bunches or 15 bunches. That is also works negatively. So micro irrigation helps in all these spheres.
Okay. And what kind of automation system like sensors or timers are most effective and affordable for small and medium banana growers?
So right now, we are not sensor based. Sensor based is still very expensive right now. The costs have to come down really. So the automation right now, which is used generally, is time based and volume based. So either you specify the amount of water to be given to each plant, or you specify the timing. Let's say from 9 a.m. to 9:30 one section, another section from 9:30 to maybe, depending upon number of plants, size of plot. So right now, automation is available for volume based and time based. Sensor based is still a little expensive. We are waiting for the costs to come down. Then it can be sensor based also.
Okay. And what is the ideal drip irrigation layout and schedule for banana under different soil types and climatic conditions?
So basically, soil type may you have to be careful. I mean, if it's sandy soil, you need to give more frequent irrigation because the water will keep draining out. If it is heavy soil, then you have to give less irrigation. You have to give more interval between irrigation. Your goal is to just keep the soil moist. The water should not flow on the bed or in the field. That is considered most ideal. Depending upon soil type, you have to vary the timing and the amount of water to be given.
Okay. Can fertigation through drip irrigation significantly reduce fertilizer usage without affecting yield quality?
Yeah. No, sorry, could you repeat that question?
Can fertigation through dip irrigation significantly reduce fertilizer usage without affecting yield quality?
Yes, definitely. I mean, that is the whole issue of using a micro irrigation or drip irrigation for use of fertilizer. So you can use the right amount of fertilizer at the right time. So usually what happens when you apply fertilizer in the basal dose in the soil, the dose is always at least 1.5 times what is required by the plant, because some will leach, some will evaporate, some will not reach the plant. But when you give it in liquid form at the root zone, the efficiency of the fertilizer increases without affecting its yield. In fact, it enhances the yield.
Okay. And just one second. Yeah. How much increase in income or reduction in input cost have observed after implementing microirrigation and automation in your orchards?
See, what has happened in our field is that we learned that we are not giving enough fertilizer in the proper doses over a period of time. So it is always overdose, short period of time, rest of the time the plant is starving. So I won't say that I have decreased the amount of fertilizer I'm using, but I have spread it out throughout the year rather than giving it concentrated at one time. And it is directly proportional to the productivity. The So the annual dose is decided कि okay, in banana you require so much nitrogen in a year, so much phosphorus, so much potassium, and then you calculate the percentage divided among, let's say if you're giving every 7 days, so you divide the whole dose into that many doses. 7 doses will mean 4 a month, and 12 fours are 48 doses in a year. So you're giving the fertilizer evenly throughout the year. So I don't think we have made any difference in the amount of fertilizer we are giving, but now we are giving the fertilizer at the proper time, at the proper interval, so all of it is consumed by the plant.
Okay. And what is the initial investment cost and payback period for setting up such a system for 1 acre of banana?
See, for 1 acre of banana, you don't need automation, because if you use automation for 1 acre, then just even the cheapest automation unit will cost you around 3 lakh rupees. And the same unit will be enough for a 5 acre plant agriculture for a plot also. So you can see how the per acre cost decreases with the bigger the plot, the less the cost. And as far as micro irrigation is concerned, nearly all the governments of all the states are giving huge subsidies on micro irrigation. So let's say a farmer would in Bihar for 1 acre of micro irrigation, the farmer share would be around 17 to 18,000 rupees, depending upon the type of crop he's doing.
Okay.
The rest is subsidy amount, which the company gets directly from the government.
Okay. And what is the initial investment cost and payback period for setting up such a system for 1 acre of banana?
But
Oh,
because you're
sorry,
getting
you have already
80%,
answered, I guess.
I've given Bihar as an example because you're using only, you're getting 80% subsidy. So technically speaking, the return, it pays back and gives you double, triple the profit in the first year itself.
Okay. And how does the use of automation support sustainable banana farming and soil health management in the long run?
In the long run, because you're giving very small quantity of fertilizer evenly throughout the year, so the soil is less contaminated. Mainly if one time you put 1 kg, 2 kg of fertilizer at the base of the banana plant, so you can imagine how much of it is being used by the banana, how much is flowing off and getting into the soil, and how much is evaporating into the environment. So basically, the fertilizer you're using is very controlled, very well timed, leading to increase in productivity. Have I answered your question? Did I miss out something?
Oh, no, you're right. Okay. And how, are there any government subsidies or financial support schemes available for adopting micro irrigation and automation in banana farms?
Nearly in all states, there's incentive for using micro irrigation.
Okay.
All governments are giving subsidies. Some are giving more, some are giving less. Maybe in a state where adoption is at a very high rate, they may have stopped subsidy.
Okay. And how do variations in soil moisture tension and evaporation rates influence the scheduling and automation of micro irrigation systems in banana cultivation? I'll just put it in the chat box.
Once you get sensor-based systems, then these two parameters of evapotranspiration or the other, like you say, how do variations in soil moisture, tension, and evaporation, evapotranspiration rates influence the scheduling. In sensor-based, what happens is scheduling gets altered automatically. Let's say you have scheduled an irrigation in the night, or fertigation in the night, and it rains. The sensor senses the rise in humidity and the soil moisture. So it sends a message to the main controller, and out here AI comes into use, and that there's enough moisture in the soil, and the scheduled irrigation can be vetoed to be shut down. So when the sensors sense that, it sends the appropriate signal to the controller, and overriding happens on the scheduled irrigation. So this system works only when you have a sensor-based technology. And same way when you have leaf sensors, which is sensing the rate of evaporation from the leaf, and when the soil sensor is sensing the primary and secondary moisture content in the soil, all these parameters together, when it goes to the central computer, the computer through AI reaches a conclusion that we don't need any more moisture in the soil right now. So even if you have scheduled irrigation, it will override it. But again, these sensors cost a lot. A lot of people are using it in poly houses where they are investing a lot out there in covered agriculture. But in open fields, sensor-based technology, because in poly houses, you're doing very premium crops. So you can invest that amount in sensors. But in open field crops, you're still not getting that return to invest to make such a high investment in sensor-based technology for micro irrigation or fertigation.
Okay. So now we have the last question. What data or results have you observed regarding? I think you have already answered. I'll just put it in the chat box.
Yeah, over a period of 9 years when we are doing banana, we started off by using only manual irrigation and fertigation, right up to automation. So you manage the banana plantation better with scheduled irrigation and fertigation. So the end result is your productivity increases. Overall productivity increases. And we can see this in the village when we compare with people who are not using micro irrigation or proper fertigation schedule, and people who are using fertigation schedule, whether it is automation or whether it is done manually. Uh, when we say manually, it means through the Venturi system, where you're still supplying the fertilizer through the pipe in a liquid form. But rather than the machines doing it for you automatically, you do the scheduling yourself, and you mix that much fertilizer in a bucket, and then a pipe is put into that bucket, and the system sucks that fertilizer into the main pipeline and distributes it to the plant. So this is happening manually. So this is the difference between it happening automatically and then happening manually.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Sudhanshu, I don't see any more questions. So before we wind up, would you like to uh, give some any other last inputs?
Hello.
Yeah, are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have come to end of question round. So I was asking if you'd like to put any other last inputs before we wind up.
No, but my only ending lines would be, if you really want to enhance your income in banana plantation, in fact, any horticultural products, you have to adopt micro irrigation. May not be automation, it can be manual fertigation, but micro irrigation and fertigation, whether done manually or through automation, is a must for you to make a profit and reduce your input cost. Productivity.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Ashok, I don't see any more questions. So now we have come to end of question round. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we'd like to thank you for the presentation and answering all the questions. So we'll be ending this meeting now. Wish you happy weekend and wish you a very happy Diwali.
Thank you.